listening to people's concerns. The Sharp Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharp Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharp Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy to have you with me this afternoon. 585 346 3000 is the number. If you want to reach out to me after our first break, happy to chat with you. I was thinking recently about a time in my life when I was a kid, youngster, still living in the Bronx. And my father and mother had taken on secondary jobs. My father was being a DJ, and my mother was cleaning houses and offices. And sometimes I'd go with them, usually not the DJ part because it was generally at a club or a bar, and I was a kid, so I couldn't go. Sometimes I'd go with my mom to help clean an office or clean a house or something like that to make extra cash. But often I was alone. I became much more of a latchkey kid. And of course, as a little kid, you don't like that, right? Who likes that? I don't like that. I want to spend time with my family and friends. Of course I do. Still do now. And I'm not a kid anymore. And I still do. But I remember my dad trying to kind of make me feel better about this. So he started something, a kind of cool tradition. We'd go to McDonald's for breakfast on Saturday morning. Or was it Sunday morning? It's been many years. I think it was Saturday morning. Saturday morning we'd go. No, sorry, it was Sunday because Saturday I'd watch cartoons. So it was Sunday, yes. Sunday morning, early in the morning, we get up and go to McDonald's. Now, I didn't like getting up early in the morning, but hanging out with my dad at McDonald's when you're 8, 9, oh my God, does it get better? Not really. So we go there. I remember I'd have like McDonald's pancakes or whatever it was, that kind of thing. And I really enjoyed it. And it kind of took my mind off of what was happening during the week when I wasn't seeing my parents very much. I was able to kind of look forward to this thing, and it was kind of good distraction. Kind of worked. I still remember it now. And that's 45 years ago. Yeah, I'm a little old. Well, some of you I'm not. Some of you I'm younger than some of you, but you know, it was many years, many decades ago is what that was. And I still remember it. Now, why do I bring this up? Because it was basic distraction. It worked, but it was distraction. I'm finding that tactic happening now in a very different arena, but same city. And that would be the city of New York. New York City is having lots of problems, as many of you know. Rent, jobs, crime, migrants, so many problems. So what has New York City decided to do to fix this? RoboCop. I'm not joking. RoboCop. That's the answer. That'll save us. We'll just have RoboCop. Now, you may not know this, but we already have a RoboCop in New York City. We have 4 or 5 of them. It's called DigiDog. It's that funky looking dog robot. We have like 4 of those, 5 of those, something like that. And we're supposed to use those for like, in case there's a fire or a building collapses, you send DigiDog in instead of an officer. Makes total sense. No issue with that whatsoever. The military does that with like trying to disarm bombs and stuff. You send the robot in. Totally good answer. No issues whatsoever. This is not that. This is an actual RoboCop. Now, not like, you know, I'm going to shoot you and they're going to arrest you. Not yet. Right now, it's basically a big Weeble. Remember Weebles wobble, they don't fall down? It's a big Weeble on wheels that drives around the subways and takes pictures of you. That's what it is. It takes pictures of you. It's, guess what? More cameras. Because you know what New York doesn't have enough of? Cameras. Now we have even more. You thought that you had some privacy. No, you don't. You get is literally none. None. Because now RoboCop camera is running around our subways. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against more security in the subways at all. I'm not. This is distraction and a way to set us up so that we feel comfortable with robots all around us. Now, right now, it's not using facial recognition, or so they say. Sure, I trust the government. I know you do too. So there's no facial recognition, they say, right now. It's not armed, so it can't shoot you yet. It can't use a stun gun on you yet. It can't restrain you yet. But there's no doubt, eventually it will. So this then allows you to feel comfortable with RoboCop running around New York City. And what's going to happen when the crime and the migrants get too much? See, New York City has another problem, and that is our cops are leaving. Now, less cops isn't necessarily a bad thing. Depends on what's happening, right? I don't want to say that less cops is bad. More cops doesn't always equal good, and less cops doesn't always equal bad. All depends on the situation. New York City has a massive police force. For those who don't know, there's about 40,000 New York City cops. I'll say it again, 40,000. There's more New York City cops than there is population in most towns in America. I'm not even joking with that. There are some capital cities across this state that don't have 40,000 people in it. And we have 40,000 just cops. So again, is cops going away necessarily bad or good? No. All depends what you're doing. I'm no judgment on number of cops. The issue is New York City doesn't know how to replace them and has no plan. As always, no plan is a problem. You hear me say this all the time, and it happens all the time. We just do stuff with no plan. No plan, problem. Well, we kind of have a plan. It's RoboCop. That's our plan. Because all of a sudden, when the crime gets too bad, or there's too many migrants, or you're scared because people are whatever walking around and you're unhappy, what are you going to do? You're going to call for RoboCop. You're going to be okay with it. Yeah, you'll be fine with it. I'd rather have a RoboCop than this bad guy coming to get me. Well, there we go. So now RoboCop gets to use facial recognition. It's already using it. But now they can officially stop lying to you and tell you that it's using facial recognition, which it's been using from the beginning. But now they'll be honest about it. And then all those holes that you saw in the RoboCop that you didn't know what they were for, all of a sudden now, well, that's where the gun goes, right? That's where the stun gun goes. That's where the net goes that shoots out like a Spider-Man web and knocks you down, or whatever is the thing they make. Whatever, they'll have something cool. Whatever that's that. You might go, well, Larry, is it really that bad? Yes, because it's recording everything you do. It's recording everything you do into one massive database that will control everything. And once that massive database can be bought by somebody, it will be bought by somebody, if not by multiple people, but at least one person, I should say one entity, maybe a business or a company or whatever, Dr. Evil, something. It will be bought by somebody, some entity, more than once. Yes. So when you had your argument with your girlfriend or boyfriend on the subway station, that's recorded now. And RoboCop's got it. And then when he decides to arrest you, he's going to say, yeah, I know you're a bad guy because the evidence I'm using is when you were mad at your girlfriend 2 years ago. So clearly you're a bad guy. So now I have to use aggression to put you down. That's going to happen. What happens when kids, and when I say kids, I mean 14, 15, 16, when they think it's cool to push RoboCop over, because they will think it's cool because they're kids, and kids think stuff like that is cool, guaranteed. Is RoboCop going to shoot them, stun them, arrest them? What's going to happen? What happens when they decide to tag it? Those of you in the city know what that means. When all of a sudden they start tagging these things, then what? Do they get shot? Do they get stunned, arrested? What happens when that happens? We saw it in, was it California? I think it was in California when they were using the bots to deliver things and people just grabbing the box and taking stuff. Didn't care. Now, what happens when you combine the idea of, well, if the damage isn't more than X dollars, it's not even an arrestable offense? Is it special when it's RoboCop? Right? Because if I tag RoboCop, that's not $900. Do I get out on bail? Do I not even get arrested? Or do I get shot by RoboCop? I don't know. My point is, this is solving a problem that they created with a solution that just creates more distraction and worse, more control. And for those of you who are on the left who go, well, Larry, this is still good because, we like establishment. Okay, great. Do you know how much it costs to keep a cop per hour in New York City? At least $40 an hour, if not more, when you include all the other goodies, right? The average cop in New York City is, well, they start like $20-something an hour. They don't start, the starting salary of a cop in New York City is not very high. It goes up relatively quickly. If you can stay and survive and deal with the stuff, you get a decent salary. But early on, not so much. How much does RoboCop cost per hour? $9. $9. And if we order enough of them, it might be $7. Soon it's going to be like 5,000 New York City cops and 20,000 RoboCops just to save cash. I don't know. Am I overthinking this? Is this not really a problem? Or am I just scared of Skynet? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in
Larry, unless I misunderstood something, isn't there an upfront cost
than ever before? Cyber,
or are they renting or leasing them?
Your business right now, seeking the tiniest.
So that $9 an hour is the total cost?
Accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances,
Um,
your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts
Bait and
at
switch.
Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your
And as we
business
know,
today.
like anything the
Don't
government
wait
does,
until
there's
it's
always
too late.
hidden
Make the
costs
call
and
today.
things that we never find out right away.
585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help.
Just out of curiosity, what are the chances a bunch of thugs could push one of those onto the tracks?
Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Yeah.
Sharpeway
Stand by.
Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here, WYSL, Rochester, New York, Sharpe Way Radio, 585-346-3000. So happy you give me a small chunk of your afternoon. And before the break, we were talking about the new RoboCops in New York City. Yes, there are many of them. And as I was joking at the end, but kind of not joking, this could be a real replacement. An average New York City cop costs the city over $40 an hour. Again, some less, some more, but around $40 an hour is what it costs the city, or higher. Or higher. So these machines are going to cost a whole lot less. I mean, think about it. $9 an hour is what it costs average to lease these things. If you have 10,000 of them, right, which New York City could easily have, maybe more, maybe 20,000, who knows? So say you have 10,000 for sake of argument, that company's making 90 grand a month just off New York City. How many other cities does this start doing? And then of course there's going to be upgrades, right? I was talking to my engineer during a break, about, well, it's $9 a month. Oh, but you want them to be able to last more than 2 hours. That's an upgrade. That's $1 million. Oh, when you want them to be able to do this. Oh, you didn't say that. That's another $10 million. How do I know that's true? Because that's how software works. Those of you know the field. Oh, I want to have this enterprise software. Okay, great. It only costs per person $12 a month per person. Awesome. That's great. We'd like you to do this. Wonderful. We'll upgrade it and it'll do this thing for you. That's just $20,000 and then $40,000. Now for a company, it's in the tens of thousands. For a city, it's in the millions. You can guarantee that. So they are happy to give it away for $9 an hour. And now everyone in the city can say, see, we're saving money. Look, we're saving money. They get rid of cops and then throw in robocops. And then the companies that make all the money, right now, the new one now is called K5.
Kevin Rochester.
Great. It's going to be amazing when all of a sudden K6 comes out. That's going to be the one that just, Then K7 is going to fly. I mean, it's going to be amazing. And each one of those is going to cost X millions of dollars. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Kevin from Rochester. Kevin, how are you?
Hey, Larry, we're talking RoboCop.
Of course.
Did that guy have any superpowers, or was it just a suit?
No, it was just a suit. The suit was just super powerful. In the RoboCop world, there wasn't any like magic or any superhero stuff. It was just the cool suit that he had. In fact, if I remember the story, there was a reboot of RoboCop, I think in the mid 2010s. And there was almost nothing left physically of the guy. It was like his brain and like his lungs or something like that. That's about all that was left over. Everything else was just machine.
I know what that feels like. Are you in Rochester?
Yes. Say it again?
Are you in Rochester? I missed you last time that you were here.
I have been in Rochester recently, as you know. I travel the state
it looks
every
like
single
from the
year.
Angle on the live
Say it
stream
again?
that you're up in the Chestnut building, the big white building.
Oh, you mean the live stream now? No.
Yeah.
I'm in New York City. I do this remotely out of Rochester, New York.
Oh, okay. I thought it said Rochester on the bottom. I was like, oh, he's in my neck of the woods. I'll give him a call.
It does say Rochester because WYSL is in Rochester.
Isn't that Pete's and Aisha's show?
Say it again?
Is that Pete and Aisha's
On weekends, Next Steps.
Yes, that is a weekend show. That's correct.
Next Steps.
There we go.
All right. Hey, you see,
Kevin.
there's this, so you know how Rochester's out of control, right? One of these issues that I wanted to bring up before I go is that, when there's these issues, like with the shootings and stuff between the police and the gangs, it's like we take their word on everything that happens. And I'm asking for the body cam footage because I don't want to just believe what people are saying. I want to just see what the body cam footage is. I feel like, we need to get that public oversight because
that is a very good point. And let me bring this up, Kevin. I have interviewed many cops, and most cops interview, there's some exception. Most cops aren't against body cams. In fact, I had one guy on my show maybe 4 weeks ago. He said, you don't understand what cops go through. People are jerks. They often start trouble with us. I'm happy to have a body cam because they can see how these guys are coming at us. He's like, I'm all in. I never turn mine off. And I think your point's a valid one. There are a lot of times when a body cam is a great idea so that we can see what actually happened, right? Of course, the cop is going to say he's right. The bad guy's going to say he's right. That's human nature. I get that. And they may actually believe it, or they may be lying, but they may actually believe it. But the camera's not going to lie. I completely agree with you.
Have you heard this? I'm glad. Have you heard this whole thing about how people who are anti-government are like like anti-American or something like that. That's what is coming out of, one of the camps, I think. They're like, it's anti-government.
It's literally
activists.
the opposite. Let me be very clear. It's literally the opposite. The more anti-government you are, the more pro-American you are. No doubt. It's literally the opposite. America was built on fighting against an overbearing government. That's what we were fighting for. That's why we went to war over 4% tax. Come on now. 4% tax. We went to war over that. So yeah, that's exactly the opposite. The more pro-community you are, the more pro-individual you are, the more pro-family you are, the more pro-American you are, the more pro-government you are, the more anti-American you are.
Hey, Larry, what are your thoughts on G6?
Okay, you have enough questions, Kevin. I appreciate it. I'll answer your question, but I got to let you go. Okay. Kevin, have a great one, okay?
Bye.
Yes. J6, I don't have a problem answering that question, but I want to keep going on the show. J6, it was a terrible riot. That's what I think. I think both sides of this have blown it in the wrong way. The left acts like it's, I don't know, 9/11 times 5, whatever, just it's not. And the right acts like, well, it's just people being tourists. It was neither of those two things. It was a terrible riot that shouldn't have happened. That's what I think about J6. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. That's what it was. A terrible riot that should not have happened. That's it. Hope I answered your question. So, well, that was a lot of questions. Let me grab, if I could, a couple of comments off the internet, if we could. Jameer says, I love you, Larry. Larry for governor of New York. I need more comments like that. Thank you. That is a great one. I love that. Joel says, the plot of RoboCop was the government causing riots to lower property values so they could take over. So yes, it's like RoboCop. Joel, thank you for remembering that. You got it. If you remember from the movie RoboCop, the bad gangbanger types that were in the cities were actually being run by the company that was making the RoboCop, which that company had the politicians in their pockets. So kind of yes. I didn't think RoboCop was a documentary. I thought it was fiction, but Joel, it might be a documentary. Yes. As we're pouring people into our city that shouldn't be here, and as we're having more, as Kevin said, more problems in places like Rochester, New York City, all over the place. Well, I have a solution. It's RoboCop. So everything goes down, people get desperate, and all of a sudden now we're happy to have RoboCop. Now, again, kind of to Kevin's point, if you look at the cameras in the RoboCop, that isn't necessarily the worst thing. I mean, it's bad, but it's going to be a whole lot more. We know it is. It's just how it works. So Scott says, Skynet is real. There comes the next part, Scott. And you guys, I love this chat. You guys are really thinking. Joel gets it. Scott, you too. Because now all of a sudden, let's say I have, again, making this up for sake of argument, I have 10,000 RoboCops on the streets of New York. Things get bad. I want my cops to crack down. And my cops say, no, I'm not going to crack down on American citizens. I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not. I'm going home. I'm quitting. I'm not following the orders that you're telling me because they're horrible orders. Well, RoboCop will follow orders. RoboCop doesn't care if it's moral, ethic, anti-American. Doesn't matter at all. RoboCop will do what the overlords say. If I have 10,000 of them in my city, I've just lost control of my city. Yes. Am I taking it too far? Am I nuts? Tell me. 585-346-2000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and the internet chat. Have a break.
for truth and freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll be looking at partly cloudy sky, just a little bit cooler out there. I think we'll dip down into the 40s on Wednesday. Sun and clouds. Numbers will bounce back into the 60s to near 70. Another chilly night coming up. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, low to mid 40s. Thursday afternoon, sun and clouds in the 60s. A few more clouds, maybe a brief sprinkle. Thursday night, Friday morning, then clearing. Friday afternoon, near 70. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
They're stretching the summer fun on and off-road at the all-new Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram 6484 Route 96 in Victor, where they're featuring a select inventory of 2023 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4s up to 20% off. And check this, a 2023 Pacific Unlimited Hybrid up to $17,000 off with various rebates and discounts. But hurry, lease a 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Willis 4XE convertible at just $369 a month for 24 months, $2,500 down. Or a 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo L4x4, only $299 a month for 24 months. Must be returning lessee using dealer cash and coupon while supplies last. All lease deals require first payment, DMV, taxes, and fees due at signing. 10,000 miles per year. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. Visit the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area, Victor Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Now at 6484 Route 96, just east.
I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but as you know, the best way to combat a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
All others for real estate appraisal and advice.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
This full-service real estate appraisal.
And a RoboCop who could be compromised, who's to say they wouldn't be hacked in and go against us?
Matrimonial partnership buyouts, litigation, and more. For any type of property, both residential and commercial. Ryan Murphy was founded almost 4 years
You know, a good movie to watch would be 2001: A Space Odyssey.
All our appraisers are either New York State certified general or residential real estate appraisers.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
Start here. RYNNE.
You know what? I know I can't play mainstream music, but when we come back, I'll play that soundbite. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Stand by.
Artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Batavia Downs Gaming exists for you to have fun coming to visit us. By doing that, you help support our member counties, education, local charities, and each and every one of our 400 employees. We want to say thank you. 2022 was our biggest year ever in credits played, money provided to our member counties, money for education and charities in our area. And we want you to continue to love coming here.
By the way, here's a little bit of trivia from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Do you know why the computer was called HAL? HAL is one letter away from IBM.
Focus on growth and a belief that there's value in what.
All right, so we have Roger from Nassau. So
Okay, I'll grab it next.
okay, so when you hear the music, you'll hear the. Sorry, Dave, I cannot do that. Stand by.
Are worth preserving and lead to long-term growth. Tompkins, your bank of choice. Find out more at tompkinsbank.com.
At AirQuip, it's all about your comfort. Comfort with our company, comfort with our team, and most importantly, comfort in your home. As a trained comfort specialist, we adhere to the highest standards of customer service, training, and industry expertise. With a trained system from AirQuip, you'll get the best products, honest prices, and service that's unparalleled. We are your home comfort specialists. Find out more at airquipheating.com.
AirQuip Heating and Air.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental has all your project needs from inside to outside, underground or in the air. A wide range of rental items, boom lifts, trencher, stump grinder, post hole diggers, and more. Geneseo Hardware offers screen and window repair. Voted best hardware store in Livingston County. Open daily, including Sundays. Get personalized service. Geneseo Hardware and Rental, Route 20A next to Wegmans Plaza. Just minutes from Kinesis Lake.
Sharpway Radio on the WYSL stations.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Oh, yes. He's sorry. He can't do that. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. When RoboCop is hanging out in the MTA and you're like, please, don't shoot me. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry, citizen. I'm afraid I have to shoot you. And then done. And that's it. I am concerned. I know. I'm teasing a little bit, but I'm not, because I feel like we're not going to stop this, right? It's going to happen. It's already happening. At least I hope we can go in with our eyes open and maybe try to create some type of fail-safes to stop this from going horribly wrong. Let me grab a call if I could. I'm going to grab Roger. Roger, how are you, sir?
Hey, Larry.
What's going on?
So here's something. Here's something to think about. Most cops have never read the Constitution. Okay?
True.
So that's part of the problem. So how about this? Pass a city ballot measure that says that all of these RoboCops have to be programmed with the Constitution. So when they go about their daily duties or whatever the case is, it overrides whatever unconstitutional orders that they get.
Yes, there actually is. Oh my God. Isaac Asimov in sci-fi created the 3 laws of robotics. I don't remember them all, but that was in every robot that was created, they had to have that in it, right? One of them was like, I'm going to paraphrase. It was like a robot may not injure a human being. A robot may not accept any orders that would, hurt a human being, and it will protect itself unless it's going to hurt a human being or something like that, right? I'm paraphrasing. But you're saying put like the Bill of Rights in it or something like that, right? So a robot may not do an order or something like that.
Special focus on the First, Fourth, and Eighth Amendment.
You know what? I like the idea, but my worry, of course, still goes back to the same thing, which is it hackable, right? But yes, I love the concept, and I think that maybe is a failsafe, because then at least if a robot does something against that, we would know there is someone to go after, to punish, to find, and there will be some incentive for people to not do it. So while not perfect, I love the idea.
And on top of that, when you think about it, eighth is not just prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. It's also prohibition against excessive fines and things of that nature.
Absolutely. And search and,
seizure.
Detainment.
That's the fourth.
And detaining, all those things. I think all of those are good. I agree. I like the idea tremendously. All right, there we go. That's the new. We're already starting. See, I'm glad we had this conversation. We are already starting it. I love it.
There you go. That's all
Thank
I
you,
had
my
to
friend.
add.
I appreciate the call.
All right.
So yes, I think he's right. There were I'm sure some of you remember from sci-fi days, the 3 laws of robotics. I kind of paraphrased them. I don't know if I got them exactly right, but according to that sci-fi, every robot had to have that programmed into them. This way they could never harm a human being, no matter what. Even if you ordered a robot, go kill that guy. Robot will go, nope, can't do it. In fact, they mentioned it in the movie, the Will Smith movie, I, Robot. That was mentioned in that movie. For those of you who aren't sci-fi fans, that was definitely one. Nicholas has one. Okay, hold on. Nicholas, thank you. He has them. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. There we go. Nicholas, thank you so much for that, my friend. Those are the actual 3 laws that I was talking about. Thank you for that. Again, that's fictional, but not a bad idea. I think Roger's idea of putting the Bill of Rights in there, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. Robert says, yes, it was iRobot. Yes, that's what it was. There we go. I had a feeling it was in that movie. I do remember it. Austin says, Larry, have you heard of the Fallout game series? I'm starting to see that the U.S. is becoming just like or similar to U.S. in Fallout. There are RoboCops in the series, and they are called Protectrons. Ooh, that sounds scary. That does sound scary. See, fiction is becoming reality. I did.
Jason, Rochester.
I want to move to one other piece, though. And that was the idea of the MTA. Another thing they're trying to do to fix the MTA, which is off topic, but on topic. It's more distraction. They're giving away free rides on the buses. You might go, Larry, that's a good thing. In theory, it's nice. Free rides is nice. I'm not against the concept of it. Maybe if there's something behind it that makes sense, like you're trying to show people how good it is, or, something like that, testing something, fine idea. This isn't that. This is, let's pacify people because we're failing. Here's some free stuff. That is a wrong reason for free stuff, right? That's my issue. It's the wrong reason for free stuff. Peter says, free bus rides are a good thing since the MTA sucks anyway. Well, if you're testing it, then I would agree. But Peter, you know what I'm saying. They're just giving it away so you'll stop realizing how much it sucks. You'll be, well, it's free. So, yeah, it's fine. It sucks. It's free. That's not a good answer for New York City or for any city, actually. Let me grab the call if I could. Jason, is that right? Are you there? I think I lost him.
We lost him.
So if we get him back, hopefully he'll come back. Until then, we'll head back. Thank you to more people who keep posting online. Thank you so much. This very aggressive chat today. Happily aggressive. Dave says, K8 will fly and handcuff you. I'm sorry, and hand you handcuffs, point a taser at you, and force you to arrest yourself. I saw it in a movie clip on YouTube or Facebook. Dave, I wish you were wrong, but I'm sure you're right. And again, to be clear, am I necessarily against a robot assisting an officer in an arrest? Not at all. I'm not. If the thing that I always talk about when it comes to technology, and I use the example of chess all the time. And the example is, many years ago, I used to play chess as a kid. My father taught me. I love the game. And back in the 80s and the 70s, when they had first come out with these computer games that would play chess against you, I could beat them. And most good chess players could beat the computer. Then it got to a point where not so much. Now, almost always, computers beat humans, right? Computers got good enough to where they tend to beat, not tend to, they always beat humans. But what beats computer chess? Chess master plus computer. So am I against cops using the K series, whatever that is, to assist? Not at all. This goes back to what Kevin was talking about. If one of them is right there by the cop, helping to, make sure there's no bad guys around, or helping the cop to make sure, everything is being watched, or, has extra handcuffs or whatever, has a taser with it that the cop can order. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is when they're on their own. My problem is Skynet. That's my problem. So if a cop is using a K unit to assist, I have no problems with that. Help the cop out. I don't want a cop to get shot if it doesn't get shot. Of course not. Help him out. But I need that K unit to be 100% subservient to the cop. Unless, except, to Roger's point, Constitution. Then that would be even better. Then a K unit can stop the cop when the cop's being unconstitutional. Now see, Roger, I'm starting to like these K units even more now. You might be changing my mind on this. Maybe we have a constitutional K unit. We'll call it a C unit. and not a K unit because it'll be a constitutional unit. Not bad. I like that. Joel says it was great to hear the commercial for New York Citizens audit during the break. Yes, they are doing some incredibly interesting, important work. I've been to their events before. I'm glad they're still doing it. And the thing that I love about it, and this is my personal ideology, is that it's citizens. That's what it is, right? It's individuals. It's volunteers. It's people who are concerned. I talk about community and doing things all the time. So of course, when I see it happening, I'm like, go. Oh my God, yes. So Joel, I'm with you. I think they're doing a good job. And more importantly, they have motivated individual citizens to go out and do stuff. And there is nothing more important, nothing more valuable than that. Community matters, citizens matter. Go out and getting things done really matters. So yes, I'm with you. I support them. I've been there to their events. I'm happy that they're on the show. Yes, yes, and yes. All righty. 585-346-3000 is the number. Larry Sharpe, WYSL, Rochester, New York, Sharpeway Radio. Back with your calls and more of this very explosive chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal.
All right, Larry, two things. First of all, I just found out yesterday, Letitia James has issued a cease and desist letter to New York Citizen Audit.
999 tech.
Yeah, Bob Savage told me they were talking about it on our Second Amendment show yesterday. He had Gary Stout. I don't know if you know Gary. He's one of the people on that. Hang on, we have Keith on the line. Stand by.
The colors are red for valor, white for innocence, and blue for justice. Our nation's flag.
Sorry, I had another call coming in. It was a spam call.
Service members continue to fight for
All right, so when we come back, I'll play another quick HAL 9000 soundbite, and then we got Keith from Rochester.
To shop now. All proceeds
You're welcome.
support Veterans Outreach Center and local veterans.
In 1926, the Avon Fire Department put an Aaron's Fox pumper into service. It now sits fully restored in a museum near Toronto. Avon has an opportunity to bring the Fox home for its 100th birthday for a fraction of its appraised value. The Aaron's Fox Full Circle Preservation Society needs your help. Look us up on Facebook or call 615-6463. Let's bring home the Fox.
Sharpeway Radio.
No soundbite. I just got another call.
Stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe, Sharpeway Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy that you give me a chunk of your afternoon. During the break, I was told something by my engineer I didn't realize. Seems like our Attorney General, Letitia James, AG, I should say. AG in New York does not stand for Attorney General. It stands for aspiring governor. That's kind of how we do it here in New York. So she wants to be the next governor, I'm sure. She has ordered issued a cease and desist order against New York Citizens Audit. And I am unhappy about that because, as I just said, this is citizens doing things that they want to do. I am very unhappy about that. And it goes to the same piece, right? Too many people in our system only care about the system and not about the people. And I understand someone caring about the system. I'm not anti having a system. But when the system supersedes the people, that's a bad system. And too many people, particularly in New York State, too many of our leaders care only about the system and not the people. But they say they care about the people as they crush them. It's really embarrassing. It's very sad that we're doing that. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you?
I try and listen closely, and what I did not hear in the voices of Kevin and Roger, these guys who demand the utmost accountability from the police, was any concern, especially from Kevin, about the physical danger these officers put themselves in trying to uphold the law. Just last evening in Rochester, a Rochester police officer put his life at risk trying to take into custody a predicate felon, including getting his uniform ripped. I hear in Kevin and Roger that the criminal must always be treated in a dainty manner, and I heard in Kevin and even Roger, I'm sure will come back and defend himself and even put me down next week. But I don't hear in these guys the concern of what our officers go through. So here's a countermeasure. How about if we put body cameras on all the politicians who are in office and have them be made to be on camera at all times, especially when they're doing their backroom deals and making money that doesn't match their salaries. Chuck Schumer, net worth $81 million. Nancy Pelosi, well up over $100 million. Biden owning the largest beach house compound in the entire state of Delaware. Bernie Sanders going after millionaires and now billionaires when he himself, Bernie Sanders, is multi-millionaire. All the hypocrisy and outright corruption. Let's have the politicians wear body cameras when they're doing their biz.
Let me touch both of those points, Keith. The idea of the cops. If you heard me last segment, I literally mentioned I do not mind cops using the K units to support them in their job. My worry is the K unit without the cop. That's my concern. So if the cop is there and he's using or she's using the K unit to support, to have extra items, another set of cameras, another set of eyes to make sure that nothing bad happens, I have no problem with that. My issue is the K unit by itself. That is my problem on a personal note. I don't trust Skynet. I don't trust the machine. I don't trust the machine that's controlled by government and or big business. And that's just naturally. The second piece you brought up. Yes, yes, and yes. Oh my God, yes. 100%. If we could actually track what our public servants, and I'm doing air quotes, our public servants are doing, I'm in. They should all wear cameras or microphones or both or something. Yes, I'm in, because you and I both know they are super corrupt. They help themselves. They don't help us at all. Our life doesn't get any better, but theirs gets great. It makes me feel like they know the empire is falling and they're just trying to grift until Rome burns. That's where my head is. Did I cover both of your issues, Keith?
Yes, I just want to say loud and clear, bringing in Letitia James, who's completely corrupt, and so far as going after that very good New York audit, you said it spot on. They are interested in keeping the system in place at the expense of the American people. That's got to stop, or New York will always be a one-party corrupt state. And I want to say again, loud and clear, let's back all of our law enforcement people. They put themselves at risk every day. And I'm sorry, Kevin, and even you, Roger, a good enough guy. Roger, you've given me compliment, but Kevin and Roger today, I don't hear the concern for the physical danger our officers are in 24/7. And I would like all Americans to remember our very, very good people in law enforcement.
There we go. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Keith. So I think the biggest piece here of everything we talked about is the idea of big business / big government controlling.
Jason is back.
Overall, a big piece. And I think that's one thing we could all agree upon. That's not going to go over well. Let me grab one more call if I can. Jason, how are you, sir?
Hey, good. I just got a personal experience about these police cams with the Gates PD. I'm from Rochester, New York, and I'm disgusted.
Okay.
First of all, I'm for privatization and public accountability boards. I have seen the abuse of Rochester, New York. I'm on the streets every day working with the homeless. I'm an ordained clergy, and I'm disgusted with the Gates PD and the Rochester PD. I've personally been entrapped where they've had me on body cam footage, arrest me for trespassing. I go to court, and they won't turn in the body cam footage to clear my entrapment. They entrap me. This is on my own property to clean my gutters. I touched my foot on my neighbor's yard, and I got arrested in my own yard cleaning my gutters because I asked my neighbors, is it okay if I put up my ladder and clean my gutters? And the Gates PD looked at Barry Kalinsky and said, yes, go ahead. When I got off my ladder, they gave me a ticket for trespassing. I went to court. It took 8 months. It gave me an ulcer. And let me tell you, there was 3 body cams, and they wouldn't turn in the 2 body cams where the cops nodded their heads and said, go ahead, it's okay. So this body cam footage can be manipulated. It isn't right. And we've had the abuse of Gordon Erdlacher here in the 1990s. We've had the abuse of the Grease police twice. We've had the Grease police chief arrested for corruption twice. We've had bribery.
So hold on, Jason, stay with me here. So what do you think? I'm confused. What do you think is an answer? I think that body cams are a good idea. I think most cops, particularly good cops, are happy to have body cams. Are you saying that body cams aren't a good answer, or I don't know what you feel the answer is here?
Discovery, when they go to court, they don't have to turn the whole body cam in. They get to manipulate pieces of the body cam. When I work with my lawyer, they get to show like what they want to show to the judge. They don't have to show the whole clip of their conversation with you or what happened at the scene of the crime. They only have to show what they say is a violation.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
so when they entrap you, when they entrap me, all right, I have an issue. My neighbor has an issue with me because, one, I'm clergy. Two, I have a worship of God in my life, but he is
90
in
seconds.
the LGBT community. He's always harassing me in my yard when I'm working in my yard or trying to work on my house. No, I've had issues with
hold on, Jason. Jason, stay with me here. I'm running out on a hard break. So what I get what you're saying is you want more civilian oversight so that people could get all of the body cam footage whenever there's a problem. Is that correct?
Yes, they manipulate it. It's like when they shot Kennedy. Did we see everything that was on tape? No. When they assassinated Kennedy, there was a cover-up. I have personally...
I get it completely, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm up on a hard break. I agree. When it comes to letting everything out, yes. More transparency is always better. More transparency, absolutely. Guys, sorry I'm on a hot break. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.